Welcome to Hero Villains. Thank you for always watching and supporting the channel. What do you think about the battle between Juggernaut versus Sentry? The clash of superhuman forces. Who will win? Juggernaut, or Cain Marko, is the embodiment of unstoppable power. When absorbing energy from the mystical entity Cytorrak, he becomes an unstoppable fighting machine. With super durable skin, terrible strength, and extraordinary healing ability, Juggernaut can penetrate walls, destroy tanks, and is almost unstoppable once he starts moving. His opponent, Sentry, real name Robert Reynolds, is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. Sentry possesses the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns, the ability to fly, super strength, super speed, and near-instantaneous regeneration. In particular, Sentry also has the darkness in his mind, the void, making him a dangerous double-edged sword. Before we dive into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. Juggernaut, real name Cain Marko, is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe. The adopted brother of Charles Xavier, founder of the X-Men, Cain grew up in jealousy and conflict with his brother, who was considered a superior genius. However, the turning point came when he discovered the Crimson Gem of Cytorrak, a magical stone containing the power of an ancient cosmic entity named Cytorrak. When touching the gem, Cain Marko immediately became the embodiment of Juggernaut, a creature with power that surpasses all physical limits. He does not need to eat, sleep, or breathe, and is almost unstoppable once he starts moving. This power comes not only from his giant muscles, but also from ancient magic that envelops him like an impenetrable armor. Although not a mutant, Juggernaut is still a formidable opponent of the X-Men and many other superheroes. His bulletproof, immune to conventional magic, and ruthlessness in combat make him a symbol of unstoppable destruction. Although he sometimes cooperates with heroes, his rebellious nature and thirst for power always make Cain Marko a potential threat that cannot be underestimated. Possessing almost limitless physical strength, he can lift, smash, or destroy any object that stands in his way. He is the embodiment of an ancient energy of absolute destruction. When fully activated by the power of the Crimson Gem of Cytorrak, Juggernaut becomes invulnerable. Even fatal blows from high-tech weapons or magical powers are ineffective against him. Even when wearing his signature helmet, he is completely immune to psychic attacks, including the ability to control consciousness, making him almost impossible to control or subdue. Juggernaut's most unique ability is his unstoppable momentum. Once he starts moving, he will not stop until he reaches his goal. No object or creature, no matter how powerful, can stand against his momentum. This is what makes him not only a dangerous enemy, but also a nightmare for anyone who dares to confront him. The source of Juggernaut's power comes from the Crimson Gem of Cytorrak. Thanks to this, he can confront top-tier entities like the Hulk or Thor without being outmatched. Attacks that can destroy entire cities, even entire planets, seem to have no effect on him. Whether thrown into a deep pit, blown up at the epicenter, or buried in horrific collisions, Juggernaut still stands up, almost unharmed. However, even Juggernaut's power is limited when compared to high-level cosmic entities. For an omnipotent being like Galactus, who destroys planets as part of his survival, the Juggernaut is a small obstacle. The Juggernaut, even in his normal state, has faced the most powerful version of the Green Scar Hulk during the World War Hulk event, and the Hulk could not defeat the Juggernaut by pure force. The power that the Juggernaut wields in battle does not reflect the full potential that Cytorrak can bestow, but is a direct result of Cain Marko's determination and will at the time. Cytorrak does not amplify the Juggernaut as an unconditional giver of power. In fact, the Juggernaut's power is not absolute without the maintenance of a connection between him and Cytorrak. This is evidenced when Cain Marko tried to track down the second gem that was rumored to grant greater power or replenish the missing energy source. He fell into a trap set by Cytorrak himself. The gem did not expand his power, but rather drained his magical energy, severely weakening his body and threatening his life. Juggernaut was not immortal, and his connection to Cytorrak was both his ultimate source of power and the sword hanging over his head. Sentry, whose real name is Robert Reynolds, is one of the most powerful and complex beings in the Marvel Universe. His powers stem from a mysterious serum that is said to be 1,000 times more powerful than the super soldier formula that created Captain America. When fully activated, the serum not only enhances his physical abilities, but also unlocks near-godlike abilities. Sentry possesses powers that rival and in some cases surpass DC's Superman. He can fly at incredible speeds, project energy with devastating force, regenerate almost instantly from severe injuries, and possess a limited degree of matter manipulation. Space, time, and reality can be affected by his presence, something few Marvel characters can achieve. What makes Sentry special is not just his physical strength, but also his ability to exist simultaneously between light and dark in the same body. The Void, Robert Reynolds' second personality and evil alter ego, is the perfect opposite of Sentry. The Void possesses equal power but is destructive, uncertain, and deeply haunting. Every time Sentry goes into battle, the risk of the Void rising also means unpredictable danger for the entire world. Each of Sentry's battles not only takes place on the battlefield, but is also a fierce confrontation in his mind between him and the Void himself. This is not simply a villainous personality, but the embodiment of fear, instability, and the deepest part of Robert Reynolds' soul. The Void constantly tries to escape, exploiting psychological weaknesses to take control, turning Sentry from an ultimate hero into a global threat. The most dangerous enemy Sentry has to face is himself. Every time he uses his power, he stands on the fragile line between salvation and destruction. If he loses control, the consequences could be beyond imagination. Sentry is not only feared by his opponents, but also by his allies. Top strategic minds such as Reed Richards, Iron Man, or even individuals with terrible strength like Hulk have tried to stop him. They know that if the Void completely takes over Robert Reynolds' body, no force on Earth can stop the consequences. Sentry possesses a range of omnipotent abilities. His body has a superhuman physiology, allowing him to perform actions that no normal entity can match. His nervous system is amplified to the point of being able to receive and react to signals at the nanosecond level. His senses are so acute that he can detect extremely small changes in his molecular structure. He can absorb energy from outside and use it to increase his strength or heal. In addition, he also possesses the ability to teleport, control the weather, manipulate darkness through the entity the Void, and can even bend reality within certain limits. Sentry is the embodiment of immeasurable power that can change the outcome of any battle in an instant. One of the clearest proofs of this power is the ability to tear apart space. The Void has easily defeated two of the most powerful magic masters, Doctor Strange and Loki in his supreme sorcerer state. Sentry once defeated Beta Ray Bill, an Asgardian warrior who was recognized by Thor as worthy of wielding Mjolnir. It is worth mentioning that just one beam of energy from Beta Ray Bill is enough to blow up the entire planet, but that still cannot weaken Sentry. With this series of impressive feats, he not only equals but many times surpasses superheroes considered invincible. Please subscribe to the channel, it will help us a lot, and moreover, you will see great videos every day. You are the best. Thank you very much. The sky was churning with fury, signaling an approaching disaster. Dark clouds were gathering, lightning flashed like blades tearing through the night. On the ground, a once bustling metropolis was now a ruin. Concrete, shattered, smoke swirling in the air, the smell of burning. People were running in panic. The red lights flickering from rescue vehicles seemed to be swallowed up in the chaos with no way out. At the center of the nightmare was the unstoppable Juggernaut, now driven mad by an uncontrollable fragment of Cytorrak's power. He swept through everything in his path like a living storm, wiping out every obstacle with the frenzied fury of absolute power. From the center of the glowing space, Sentry appeared. He needed no noise or heroic declaration, just a silhouette stepping out of the bright light, standing motionless as if defying the storm. The air around him changed, no longer just smoke and dust, but the palpable feeling of a power being held within, waiting to explode. The battle truly erupted. Juggernaut attacked him like a frenzied natural phenomenon. Each step was a declaration of war against gravity, causing the pavement to crack, the concrete to shatter like glass. The rumble of his movements echoed throughout the city, creating shockwaves that shattered glass, Juggernaut's presence a declaration that nothing could survive while he moved. Sentry reacted instinctively. He flew at supersonic speeds, dodging heavy blows inches from his body, each swing of Juggernaut's arm enough to flatten an entire city block. But Sentry could not dodge forever. He knew better than to stop Juggernaut. Sentry's punch, a combination of absolute physical strength and cosmic energy, collided head-on with Juggernaut's boundless magical power. The space around them warped. The pressure from the collision was so heavy that the ground beneath their feet could not bear it, collapsing into a giant crater, dragging dozens of buildings into the abyss. It was a clash between two primal powers, one from the enhanced human will, the other from an ancient entity beyond time. Sentry decided to change tactics. No longer relying on conventional physical attacks, he focused all of his photon energy, one of the purest and most destructive forms of energy in the universe, into a direct hit, hoping to stun Juggernaut, even if only for a few seconds. A bright golden beam of light pierced through space, exploding like a small sun in the heart of the devastated city. But what Sentry saw after the light made him frown. Juggernaut was still standing there, unfazed, unharmed, not pain, but defiant. The dust around him cleared, revealing his massive body like a living fortress, the magical energy of Cytorrak burning in every fiber of his being. Not only was he undamaged, he seemed to have grown stronger from the attack. That was when Sentry realized this was different. He began to sense something amiss, not just power, but a bottomless rage, as if the Juggernaut was driven by an unquenchable energy. A destructive machine devoid of reason, driven only by the urge to pure violence. Tension rose. Sentry, who had faced many cosmic threats, now took an involuntary step back. Not out of fear, but because he knew that the man before him was no longer the Juggernaut he once knew. The Juggernaut's anger reached its peak. With a swing of his arm like a thunderbolt, he grabbed Sentry in midair, then threw him like a living arrow through 5 buildings. Each structure collapsed as he passed through, concrete and steel shattering like Lego pieces under the uncontrolled rage. Amidst the rubble, Sentry slowly rose. His gaze changed. It was a gaze torn between two extremes, responsibility and destruction. Knowing that he had no other choice, he was forced to release the power that had been hidden for so long, the void. Sentry's body glowed and gradually turned dark purple, surrounded by an uncertain and terrifying aura. The space around him distorted, as if reality itself was trembling before this new presence. In his omnipotent state, the entry became an unpredictable entity, where light and darkness fought in a single body. In his mind, reason was struggling to resist the invasion of the void, an entity that was not only powerful, but also cunning and ruthless. On the contrary, deep inside Juggernaut, the soul of Cain Marko was screaming in despair, trapped in a monster shell manipulated by Cytorrak. Two souls bound by their own power, the dark power of the void seeped into every blow Sentry struck. In a decisive strike, he poured all of his energy, not only himself, but the destructive power of the void into a single punch. Space cracked. Juggernaut was blasted out of the current dimension, his massive body piercing through layers of reality like a living meteor, drawn into an invisible portal that led to a forbidden region of the universe. The place where Juggernaut landed was unlike any other. It was a forgotten dimension where the energy of Cytorrak had been sealed since ancient times, an energy prison beyond time and space with no escape. And it was there that the bond between Juggernaut and Cytorrak was finally severed. Cain Marko lay unconscious, confused, and empty. The unstoppable threat had finally been neutralized. The void is still there, hidden in the depths of his mind, whispering invitations. Even though he has defeated the enemy outside, Sentry knows the battle within him continues. He controls himself and fights fiercely within himself. He does not destroy the enemy, but frees Cain Marko from Cytorrak's grip, a humane victory. Sentry defeats Juggernaut. Cytorrak is stripped of his power. The battle ends with Sentry winning 8/9 times for sure. I hope you enjoy this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thanks a lot.